Retro Racing Reports from Irwindale Speedway, July 26, 2003. We're about halfway through the race season in 2003 here. Well, the King Taco 200 Winston West guys have come to town. They're also going to run the Auto Club late models for a good 50 laps. This is part 2 of our Irwindale Speedway programs for this week, as Irwindale is closing at the end of this week. And we're going to include the race results from tonight, as well as some additional covers that were used throughout the 2003 season. They appear at the end of this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and put your comments down below. Share your stories. Be careful of which direction you look while the green flag is in effect tonight. There will be so much action taking place that no single person will be able to soak it all in. The sight, sound, smells, and outright physical impact of NASCAR racing is about to get underway. NASCAR Grand National Division Winston West racers are here for their only 2003 visit. They bring in 3,500-pound cars, hundreds of horsepower, and loads of determinations. In 6 races thus far, they've had 6 different winners. Last year's Irwindale Speedway event is busy racing a Craftsman truck this season, and that's Brenton Gaughan. At 200 laps, the West teams not only have to race strong and clean, but they'll also need a pit stop or two along the way, and you'll have the best seat in the house, as pit road is right in front of the main grandstand. As if the Winston West race weren't enough on its own, we've added our Auto Club late models for a 50-lap race. No pit stops with these guys. This race will be more of a sprint. Todd Burns has an impressive string of 8 wins in a row coming into this event. Out of 10 races, that ain't bad. Scott Youngren won on opening night, and Mike Price won the following event. Since then, they've been pushing hard to catch that black number 4 of Burns. We'll look for Jess Flores, Tim Huddleston, and at least 5 other drivers out there ready to win tonight. Our late models will lap the track at about the same pace as the West cars. See if you can hear, see, or feel where they are different. Get a scanner, binoculars, and don't dare blink. We have 250 laps of action coming your way. Recap from Irwindale Speedway by Tim Kennedy, July 19th. Rip Michaels ripped a victory from the grasp of season-long rival Craig Persley in the final 50 yards of a 75-lap Janiking Super Late Model feature last Saturday before 5,250 at Irwindale Speedway. It was the only time third starter Michaels was in front all night. Persley led 74 laps from the pole in the 75-lap contest between the dueling Chevrolet Monte Carlos. Michaels, who usually passes on the inside line, uncharacteristically used an outside pass from the 4th turn to the finish line to edge Persley. His winning margin was less than a fender at .063 seconds officially in a 34-minute race slowed by 3 caution flags for spins. It was his 33rd career feature triumph at Irwindale. Michaels increased his point advantage from 42 to 44 points over Persley in super late model track points. Michaels told media members, "He, Persley, is making me work harder than any other driver has in the 5 years here." TK Karvasic, the 1999 Irwindale Superstock champion, started 6th as the fastest qualifier in his Camaro. He became the 3rd and final race leader on the 8th lap of the 40-lap Vista Paint Superstock car race. He outdueled runner-up Lee Ladd, a 6-time winner this season, by .895 seconds. That's about 20 yards, after missing the first 5 races this year. It was TK's 3rd outing and 2nd consecutive victory following his return to racing following a self-imposed hiatus. He now has 29 Irwindale feature trophies. A 14-car pick-your-part figure-8 25-lap race went to Steve Stewart by half a car length over fast-closing Chris Williamson's winged figure-8 special. Williamson took the figure-8 point lead by 6 points over Dan Burns, the co-point leader entering the race. Stewart is one of 8 drivers using roof wings for downforce, became the 5th different winner in 5 figure-8 events this season. On lap 4, Stewart passed fellow front row starter and early leader Jesse James. The TV personality James, host of Monster Garage on Discovery Channel, was making his 3rd start in figure 8 racing. He dropped out of 4th place on lap 19 with an engine problem. Amazingly, the figure 8 race was an all-green flag event that took only 9 minutes to complete. 11 of the 14 drivers finished and 5 drivers were still on the lead lap. Well, unlike the figure 8s, the West Coast Pro Truck scheduled 50-lap main took 48 minutes and had to be shortened by officials to 25 laps following 2 yellows and 3 red flag delays. Multi-truck crashes left many trucks without front fenders, hoods, or bodywork. On lap 11, in the 4th turn, Charlie Carter, a TQ Midget veteran from Santa Barbara, hit the spun truck of Bob Leininger. The track safety workers had to lift Carter out of his truck through a hole cut in the roof after a driver complained about back and neck pain. They installed a collar and took Carter by ambulance to Kaiser Permanente in nearby Baldwin Park. An opening lap crash involved the 3 wide trucks in the top 3 positions. After contact, the outside truck of Dave Lyons bounced off the first turn attenuator and collected the others. 3 trucks were eliminated and several more came back from the pits later, though laps down and minus body panels. Officials sent Michael Thomas to the back of the field for causing the mishap. He then raced through the field and finished second, 30 yards behind initial Irwindale and Truck Series winner Neil Conrad. The Arcadia driver is the West Coast Pro Truck 2002 Rookie of the Year and a Pro and Superstock veteran at Saugus Speedway. He now drives the ex-Dion Young winning Chevy truck with pick-apart of Monrovia sponsorship. The 5th main event of the night was the 50-lap Ultra Wheels Super Truck race won by 4th starter and 3rd race leader Carson Woods in 19 minutes with only 2 cautions for spins. The race featured fan-pleasing 3 and 4 wide racing throughout the event. The top 5 trucks finished within 2 seconds of one another. 30 of 32 trucks were racing at the finish, and 27 drivers completed every lap. Woods from Yucca Valley collected his 2nd main event trophy at Irwindale this year. He won the 2002 Ultra Wheel Super Truck track title without benefit of a feature victory. He advanced from 3rd to 2nd in current track points and was only 4 markers behind Dave Blankenship. Prior point leader Ryan Arciero got sideways in traffic on lap 13 and stalled. He had to restart last for causing a yellow flag, and he raced back to 18th at the checkers. Tim Woods earned the Super Late Model Ringers Gloves Hard Charger Award on the night. After a fire during practice, Woods towed his racer back to his Chino Hills home and repaired the damage. He got back in time to start at the tail end of the main event. He raced clean and steady to finish 9th from his 24th starting position. Upon emerging for the presentation, fans booed Woods loudly for his unsportsmanlike display of several weeks ago. This was his first race since that time. He then spoke to the crowd and says, "Look, I took my medicine, I embarrassed myself, I want to apologize to fans and everyone. It will not happen again." That sincere statement from a contrite driver clearly converted boos to cheers from the forgiving crowd. NASCAR Winston West 2003 Mid-Season Recap. News out of Daytona Beach, NASCAR headquarters. 15 drivers of the NASCAR Grand National Division Winston West Series will share a combined $50,000 from the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company as prize money for the first leg of the 2003 schedule. Prize money will be presented to the drivers on Saturday, July 26, prior to the start of the King Taco 200 at Irwindale Speedway. Steve Partagna, number 77 Food for Less King Taco Ford, will receive $10,000 for leading the West standings after the first 6 races of the season. He is the only driver to finish in the top 10 in all 6 events. He began his racing career while living in Sparks, Nevada, but now resides in Bakersfield. Mike Duncan of Lamont, California, will receive $6,000 for being second. In addition to notching his first career victory in May, Duncan has top 10 finishes in 4 other events this season. Third in standings is the leading Ray Bestis Brakes Rookie of the Year contender, Scott Lynch, who will receive $4,000. Tonight will be the Winston West Series' first visit to Irwindale since the track was selected as site of the inaugural Toyota All-Star Showdown last November. Teams and drivers will be paying extra attention to their notebooks this weekend in preparation for the $500,000 nationally televised event, which will showcase the top 15 Winston West drivers against the top 15 Busch North drivers, their counterparts in the new NASCAR Grand National Division. During last year's event, Austin Cameron nabbed his 4th Bud Pole Award of the season in time trials. Then it was Scott Gaylord who dashed into the early lead. Gaylord set the pace for the first 55 laps, still being passed by Kevin Richards. Cameron eventually took charge through the mid-stages of the race. Quick pit stops became essential as a long run of more than 160 consecutive laps of green flag racing forced teams to stop for fuel and fresh tires without the aid of a caution. The top spot was shuffled among several drivers as leaders darted into the pits. Cameron took command on lap 175 and held off Eric Norris after a late race caution. Be sure to like and subscribe. Put your comments down below.